All right, what's going on, everybody? Gabby Card Stacks here, and I've got a massive box that I'm about to send off to COMC. I'm going to show you what I'm sending at what service level between standard or select. We'll talk about the differences, how I'm packaging it up, how I'm sending it off, everything that you would need to know to send cards off to COMC. We're going to talk about it today. All right, this is everything that we're working with. I've got a stack of, I don't know, 10 slabs. I've got a 100 count box and two 300 counts. Let's just run right through these. I'll show you what I'm sending, at what service level, what that means exactly, and everything in between. So I'm going to unbox all of these very quickly, and then we'll jump right to it. But these are jam-packed. This is 100% full. You couldn't fit any more cards, to be honest. All right, so let's start with this stack here. This is one of my 3 standard submission stacks. It is 50 cents per card for them to upload to my account. They're going to scan it and title it, list it, pretty much everything. All I need to do is just put a price to it. So everything here, I do personally pay 40 cents per card. I have some sort of a premier account that's a perk that they offer to some of the bigger accounts, which I got invited to pre-sponsorship, but now you get 10, 20, 20% off your submission. So it knocks it down from 50 cents to 40 cents, which is awesome. But for if you have just a standard account, then you're at 50 cents. So this is everything. And for me, it's, you know, how do you decide what to send for 50 cents? How do you decide what to send for $1? For me, it's just, is this going to go up in value? Is it something, you know, super high end? There's a lot of different factors, right? Like a lot of this color, I don't anticipate the prices to change, and it's all under $5. So I'm fine paying 40 cents per card. If I'm paying $1 and I'm selling this for $3, like that's a lot of margin, right? So I just want to keep it as cheap as possible. I'm sending all of these cards. I'll count it up afterwards. This is a ton of cards, so my submission fee is going to be pretty heavy. You do not have to pay your submission fee until your cards are processed. So it's not totally upfront, but you do pay as soon as your cards are processed. So I'm not paying, you know, let's just say $300 to submit all this. I will pay that once they upload these to my account. So it does hurt a little bit when you have to, you know, eat that fee up front before you even sell a card. And now you've got to sell all these cards to make your margin back. But it is what it is. This is just way easier, and especially for this type of stuff I'm sending. So like I said, just some of the lower end stuff, like these are under, you know, $6, $7. Some nice blues here. I sorted by color. You don't have to sort. You don't have to log anything. You just send them the box. I like to sort it by color, parallel set. I'm a nice guy, and I feel like maybe it gets it, you know, through the submission a little bit faster. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Like we haven't hit anything over $10 here at all, but like the Evan Stewart maybe, but just cards that have just been sitting on my eBay. I don't really want to have to deal with them. I would sell all of these cards if there were like a bulk lot purchase, you know, great. But I just don't have the time to find a buyer. I don't know a buyer who would want all of this. I will just piece it out. And it's better than sending to auction, right? Like at least I get to control my price a little bit if I were to send these to auction somewhere. These are some nice-ish cards, you know, black and white stealth, some meh names there. Ashton Daniels, KJ Jefferson, and then some autos. Just again, some of the low-end names like Colin Lacey. I do like Colin Lacey a lot, but his prices aren't changing from now for the next 4 months, right? Like if his prices go up, he's gonna need some games to pop. No one's really gonna be talking about him. So these, I'm patient, man. And again, it just saves on your submission fee. If I were to send all these cards, I mean, I'd probably be paying, you know, $400 or $500. But if I can limit my submission cost, why not? So Tetroa, I'm sending these. I've got so many on COMC, but just makes sense. Jalen Daniels, again, I don't think his prices are really going to jump. Let's put those together. Taylon Green, some other colors, some Dylan Rayola here. Zeke Elliott, short print, Damian Pierce, gold, Jordan Travis, unfortunate there. So that's, you know, that's one stack. Again, nothing crazy. These aren't, you know, over $10 cards. Even some of these autos, like Gavin Sawchuk is maybe a $7 auto. So that is stack 1. Let's go through stack 2. And so to submit all this, it's a very easy process, and we'll walk through it. It maybe takes 2 minutes to process all this through the site. All you have to do is just print out your submission form and say, hey, I'm approximately sending 600 cards, and from there they do all the work. So we'll go through that. These were all some late additions. I just wanted to maximize the box. I had a lot of empty space. I'm like, you know what? A lot of these cards, women's basketball, like Addie Brown isn't jumping in price, in the next 4 months. If I can save my submission fee and keep it to 40 cents, women's basketball, we're so ahead of that. Trey Owens, it's a long-term hold. These Cade Klubniks, like I'm not going to pay 80 cents. They sell for $2. I was picking these up for 25 cents, right? So I'm trying to keep my cost per card down on some of the low-end stuff. Some dupe Noah Fafitas, Jackson Arnold, I've been sitting on that for a while. Eugene Wilson. So like these are kind of like $1 cards. I don't know how much I'm into these cards, but I just think that these are a little bit better of names that at least cover my submission fee. And I don't want to personally sell them for $1.99 on eBay. It just is not worth my time at the moment. So Jeremiah Love, like that's a $4 or $5 refractor right there. Some of these might not sell. Like this Derek Moore might not ever sell, but you know what? And you eat the submission fee, but for me, it's worth it. I'm not gonna store this and all these other cards at my house just to sell it for $1.99. I could probably fire sale it on COMC at some point. So again, just these are pretty low end, like $2, $3 a piece. You don't want that submission fee to eat up 30% of your margin there. So these I'm pretty patient with, man. Like even Benjamin Morrison, like if even if he's the best preseason of all time, like it's probably not jumping up a whole ton. Same with Will Campbell. These just aren't super high priority. Now ink is another story. Let's move that one. So again, you kind of see where I'm going with this. Just under $10. Cards I don't want to deal with. This was a new submission. I found a 100 count box and I was like, all right, I'm just going to throw a bunch more cards. Save on shipping, right? Shipping is going to suck, but Luca, like, I got it. I'm in the money on my Sports Illustrated for kids. More Cade Klubnik. We got some Drew Aller, Nate Johnson. Like, if his prices go up, it's because of a game, right? And there's not going to be any games for the next 4 months. This will be close. This will be cutting it close right up to the season. But like Drew Aller, I think that price is going to increase. Same with DJ Lagway. Jarrett Gibson. Not a lot of people are going to be buying him. A bunch of Trey Owens. I always say Tyler Owens. That's the strength and conditioning coach at UW. Jeremiah Love, base cards. Jimmy Brown. This card is not going up in price, right? Save your money, right? And be smart with your submission. This someone sent to me on accident instead of another card. So that's going. I have no desire to list it for $1.99, $2.99. Cade Klubnik, purple, nice. I've got like 3 copies of this card. Some Drew Aller, Jarrett Gibson, some Haas Haney, which honestly, I think I have some in my $1 pile, but Joseph Manjack, Angeli, Cade Klubnik, like I expect this price to increase over the next 4 months as we get closer to the season. Juju Watkins, just one of those awkward like $25-ish cards where it's just easier for me to send on COMC. It's 5% fees on COMC, so you definitely save compared to the 13 on eBay as well. So, I think in the long run, and especially for me, like I am trying to save time, and I think it saves in fees. It's worth it for me to pay COMC. I'm not going to pay an employee, but I can pay COMC to send all of these cards. These are, these I probably picked up in like lots. I might have bought some individually, but on COMC, like I'll buy these if they're like 40 cents. So that's why I'm comfortable sending it, now to COMC is just like, worst case, I've got it. Like I would buy it at 40 cents, and that's my submission cost, So that's how I think of it. All right, so these are my select submission cards. I am paying 80 cents per card, and these will be uploaded to my account in 2 weeks. So much faster. Time is money, right? Again, I'm trying to kind of keep my submission costs down in this case, but these I do want to send out. And you know what? Some of these, actually, I didn't even think about it. So they do have a program called Fresh Pulls. So like that Haas Haney would definitely qualify for Fresh Pulls. And this is something I should probably ask my rep is, if you accidentally send a Fresh Pulls in to COMC, like I don't know if that one, but like Onyx, like all of these would qualify for Fresh Pulls. Like it is fairly new, I believe. So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Or like these. This is what I was thinking of. I don't know or like Chris Henry Jr. there. I don't know if like they go through all of your boxes and then pull out fresh pulls. I don't know how that works, but I am going to pull these off to the side because I see Jarrett Gibson on the top one. So anyways, 80 cents. These will be uploaded to my accounts for 2 weeks. I understand that's like a way better proposal, right? Like pay 80 cents, you know, eBay fees on all this stuff is 13% plus a transaction fee. You know, pick and choose, right? You know, be smart about it. Nico Iamaliava, I don't care to hold. Just let me take my losses. And on COMC, it's way easier. These are all going for $1. So like draft, you know, Childs, whatever. I think that's a little bit more worth it. COMC makes it a lot easier to rip the Band-Aid off of a lot of cards, which I really like. So Haas Haney, like I think those will go for fresh pulls. Steve Angeli, and I don't know if I'm thinking fresh pulls. So any product released within 90 days and sent to COMC, it's 50% off. So it would be 50 cents and you get it uploaded in 2 cents. It's their way to incentivize people to submit fresh product to the site. Like you don't want, you know, pay 50 cents and it's up in 2 weeks and you can kind of capitalize on that. All these base prisms, I'm probably losing money. I bought this right at like the peak, I would say. It was at a show and I was like, you know what, I'll take a chance on these. Like super liquid, right? So I mean, I think I've made some money on a couple. Like I bought a ton. I probably spent like $200-$300 on all these base prism rookies, but we'll see for the national. But again, it's just going to be easier to sell on COMC. It's such a high sales volume card that it's transacted every single day, I'm sure. Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, and then some Jalen Milrose. Want to get these up for preseason, right? Or just any. Let's see. I try to put them all together, so I will put the True Red there, just in case there's something, you know, they accidentally mislabel this as a red ice when it's a True Red. I try to separate some of those colors like that. Like Rayola, want to try to sell these. Julian Sayin, I want to sell those before week 1. DJ Lagway, Arch Manning, I'm experimenting with one of those. I usually sell my Arch Manning pretty easily on eBay, but it makes sense. Quinshon Judkins, draft. Miller Moss, now that he's in Bowman, I'm fine just getting rid of Leaf. Like, I don't think he's moving up in price until, you know, Bowman and such. So, Darius Taylor, Nate Frazier, nice Julian Sayin. This one, you know, is a nicer card. It's numbered to 25, or is it? Yeah, 25. But I'm sending it to COMC because people can search Julian Sayin numbered, and that'll come up. Tyler Shuck. Experimenting with some of these. This one was a boof buy. I have 3 copies of this and I have 3 more copies of that. So just seeing what works there. Jaden Maeva, Ben Morrison. So that one, I guess I imagine just for the draft, it's, you know, about $5 or $6, I would imagine. Jarrett Gibson. So I'm pretty sure that would qualify for fresh pulls. Some Josh Hoovers. These I could probably, you know, I'm not in a huge rush and I could probably, you know, here. Save yourself $1.20 and send those in standard, right? So it's on my mind. Oh, is this? No, yeah, I guess okay. So Ty Simpson, Ben Morrison, Hampton, yeah, these make sense. I'm sending all of those cards I got from Pulse in those boxes. Zach Calzada, Haas Haney, I want those up. Lawrence Arnold, Trey Burke, or Trey Moore. I always say Burke. Arch Red, base Rocco, just experimenting. I've got like 6 base Roccos, so if they sell faster on COMC, boom, I'll send another box, submit it in 2 weeks, and it's no issue, right? Trey Moore, Antonio Williams, nice Curtis Rourke there. So yeah, some of these might be fresh pulls. Sam Levitt, one of his only licensed cards for the time being. He's in Bowman, so that's interesting. Samuel Brown for the draft and mini camp and all that, same there. Xavier Restrepo, Taylon Green. I love Will Pauling. I just don't want to hold him. Same with Mikey Keene. Mikey Keene will get those up. Hopefully he wins that job. Again, just some of my nicer-ish autos that I guess I'm sending. You know, these are still, you know, maybe the Tez is closer to 20, but well, Xavier Watts is probably about 20. I think his price has dropped dramatically. Talon, that's a cool one, the backwards hurdle. Spencer Rattler, rookie auto. Drew Aller, Inception. Another Maeva. These I just added to fill in my box, like Thomas Castellanos, whatever. Steve Angeli, a couple nice ones there. I'm keeping his color matches. All my Aiden Childs. I don't need to hold Aiden Childs. I'm not a huge Childs guy, but his stuff was fairly cheap. And then sometimes you can sell it pretty decent, buy it now. more Steve Angeli, and then filling in some Paige Beckers. I'm keeping about half my base cards, and then I'll send half to COMC just to experiment. Shooter, Torrey Horton, man, these are L's, dude. I was buying these at like $8 a piece. I think I got offers at like 30, and I was like, nope, I'm holding Torrey Horton. Didn't have any autos, so just a disappointing year. Montrell, these are some losses for sure, but again, COMC makes it super easy to some nicer ones there. I just want to experiment. And Jackson Dart, I've sold one, I have another, and then we're sending one off. So we'll see how that works. And then I guess we got to go through the slabs really quickly. So here we go. Devin Neal, I graded this one myself. Nice color match with the Saints. Now, Michaela Williams, gem. I dropped that price quite a few times. Jackson Arnold, that Michaela feels way heavier than the Jackson. Jackson Arnold again. These I'm going to be losing a good amount on, but want these gone. Not a Nico guy. And then we've got 5, 6. Oh no, there's 5. 5 Arch Manning PSA 9s. I paid $15 a piece. I'll submit them for $1. I'm in at 16. If I can sell them all for $22 a piece, net 21 after fees, I'm cool with that. And then a Brady Cook, that's going to be a loss for sure. But one of my first grading experiments there. So I am going to count all of this up just because I like to put the exact number in. I got to figure out like Onyx and kind of fresh pulls and look at release dates to see, but my boxes are pretty jam-packed, so I don't know. It doesn't really matter too much for these. The Haas is really the only one that I'd be concerned about. So, all right, cool. Maybe even that Jarrett Gibson. But I'm going to count all this up, and then we will package it up. We will submit this process together. So I'll be right back. All right, so I crunched the numbers. I have 71 cards in that small box, which is going to go standard, and then 238 in a big box. That's going to be $124 just to submit. So in 12 weeks, when they hit my account, I will be charged $124. They don't all hit all at once. They'll do like, oh, here's 20 cards, here's 8 cards. I don't know the rhyme or reason, but that's just how it works. And then 207 select. So those are all going up in 2 weeks. It's $165 for me. And then 12 slabs, I'll send those select. So about $300. I rounded up just to make it easy, but $300 to submit all these cards. But man, that does hurt to swallow, but to be able to just sell cards and price them competitively and let them do all the work, man, feels great. So I'm going to put these away. We'll go on the site and do the submission process. All right, here we go. Hopefully we can just see this, but I am going down to this, and I think can I just select both of these, standard and select 16 weeks versus 2 weeks. I've got one of each. So I'm going to do this in 4 different groups. So 1 and 7 raw. I will do, I don't know, 1,000. This is just for insurance purposes. So there's that. We've got exactly 12 slabs graded. Boom. Cool. And then we'll add another one for our big box. We have exactly 238, or just about. I counted a couple times. I've got 4 groups. We hit them all. So now it is saying about $370. So that's about, I get 20% off. So that sounds pretty good there. You select a submission center. I am shipping to COMC headquarters, all in the same box. To my knowledge, that's the best information. And now we slip these into our submission, and that's pretty much it. We're done. We just submitted all these cards. I'm firing up my label printer. All right, Gaby, how are you going to ship all this? Well, I got this Amazon box. Nothing crazy, just reusing some resources here. So I'm going to shove those 2 boxes there. I'm going to get this one here. And then these slabs I found fit perfectly right here. I am going to get a piece of cardboard there. Get yourself a nice little kitchen scale. That is 6 pounds, 10 ounces. All right, so that does it. We've got this box ready to roll. $10 to ship it. It says it'll get there Monday. They usually send you an email and be like, hey, we got your package. Your estimated timeline begins now. So I'm ready. I feel just a huge sigh of relief, man, just to be able to just not worry about these cards anymore and just price them to sell, right? I think that's my problem on eBay. I price it a little bit too high and then take offers, but sometimes it's just good to just have COMC do all the work for you. So I'm excited. I'm going to send this to the post office. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully you learned something new about COMC and the submission process. You saw how quick it was to actually go on the website and submit that process. So if you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We'll have 2 more videos coming up soon. I requested shipment from COMC, so I should have about 40 cards coming in. And then we're going to do another little COMC 101 pre-grade review. So peace. Love you. Bye.